Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Ohio Valley Real Estate Report. My name is Johnny Kazemka, and with me today, Scott Connors.
What's up, Johnny?
Yeah, not too much. So today we are broadcasting live from the St. Clairsville, Ohio office studio, and you wanted to talk a little bit about Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, some of the IDX websites. So what do you got?
So it's one of our favorite and our least favorite subjects, right?
It's almost a necessary, I don't want to call them necessary evil, but there's a lot of misinformation in the industry that the general public just doesn't quite understand.
I'll go with the evil part. I'm not sure what the necessary part. So again, the misperception is, and let's start with Realtor.com.
Mm-hmm.
So years ago, Realtor.com was a service provided by the National Association of Realtors. It was us.
Mm-hmm.
So we would take all of our listings, put them on Realtor.com so people could see them. It was great. Zillow came along as a third-party site, and we started giving them our listings as well. And I think it was a mistake the industry made, because what Zillow did is they took our listings and they started using them to capture buyers who they would then sell to other agents. And that business model has kind of overtaken the industry. There really are two business models we're talking about today. But let's focus on Zillow, Realtor.com. They're kind of the two major players. And the point I really want to make to everyone watching is those sites exist. Their business model is based entirely on the idea of selling your information to guys like us.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it over and over and over again. So you go to Zillow, you go to Realtor.com, and you click the big red button that says send me more info. And what they do is they take your info and they sell it to multiple real estate agents at the same time. And if you go back the next day or an hour later and click that button again, they're going to sell your information again to multiple agents. And so we have clients all the time and we buy those leads, by the way, because we want to talk to those buyers too.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people all the time who they click the button, we get the notification, hey, John Smith is on Realtor.com and has a question. We call John, he says, geez, you're the fourth agent who's called me.
Yeah.
So needless to say, this is generally not a positive experience for the average buyer.
Yeah, we've talked about this off camera for a little while. What's referred to as IDX, Internet Data Exchange, and a long time ago, people have figured out. I mean, people have been hacking stuff for centuries. I mean millennia at this point. But I mean, there's a reason why Google search engines, for example, or just even search engines in general, they didn't used to go off of like the algorithms they do now. It used to be alphabetical order. So why do you think companies like AAA name themselves AAA, right?
Yeah,
it's
so back to the yellow pages.
Yeah, when you have to go to the yellow page and you're broken down, you don't care about who you get to tow your car. You're going to call someone who's going to get there as fast as possible. Well, people have figured out that data is worth more than gold. And these websites fed off of what's known as IDX, Internet Data Exchange, the D in IDX, that's gold. They take your number, they take your contact, and they resell it over and over. That's why your Kroger card, right? It's not free. And put it this way, if something is free, you're the product.
That's exactly right. And with think about that. For Realtor.com, for Zillow, any of these sites, you don't pay anything to use them as a consumer.
Mm-hmm.
And so what that means is that you are, in fact, the product. We see ads, and I actually thought about sharing one of them in this podcast, from them that says, hey, we've got buyers. Would you like their info? So that is literally the way these companies make their money, and they make a lot of money. So it's a bit of a word of caution to buyers that when you go to those sites and you request information about a listing, what you're doing is you're giving them the right to sell your information to guys like us, and they do it over and over and over again.
And not just guys like us. I mean, it's a data set. If you start getting health insurance calls, don't be surprised.
Yep.
If you start getting political phone calls or, hey, I need to talk to you about your car's extended warranty, this is all in that bucket. And it's just one of those things that it's a necessary evil in the business. Their platform is much larger. No one's going to go to my website over Realtor.com to start their search. And the general public does this. And there's another element here that when it's IDX fed, the information that they advertise is the information that we go and obtain as the original source.
Yeah, it's our data.
It's our data. There is no listing on Realtor.com without me or you or whoever going and getting a listing and putting the sign in the yard. Now that they have that data and they start advertising it on their larger platform outside of myself, then people start clicking on that, and that's how they sell it back to us. There's a delay. There can be a delay by the time that they advertise a new listing between 1 day up to 1 week at times. I mean, look what just happened with the AT&T debacle when everyone's phones were down. If you've ever seen something new on Realtor.com that looks new to you, but then says pending an hour later, it's because it was sold 3 days ago.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And we see this all the time, and people get frustrated by, hey, how is every listing sold before I even see it? Well, what we do is we suggest you should check out our sites. So I disagree with you. I think a lot of people should go to johnnyrealtor.com.
Well, they should. Yeah, I would love that. But it's a reality. We're not going to get them to compete with.
It is a reality. But our sites are fed directly from the MLS. They're updated constantly. And we get pushback sometimes because when you go to our site, it's going to prompt you. We're going to ask you for your information.
Correct.
But there's a pretty big difference there, and that is that we promise we won't sell your information. We're going to keep it to ourselves.
And there's much more that goes into that registration process than that. Look, I am one of the people when I go and buy something at Bed Bath & Beyond, when I go to wherever that I'm shopping and someone says, what's your I don't like giving my information at the cashier's register. Nobody does. If I can go to self-checkout and avoid some of the stuff, I get it. I don't want to hassle anybody who doesn't want to be hassled. But from my perspective, from our perspective, my fiance's, I mean, we have to meet strangers every single day. We get in contact with these people. Then we have to take those strangers into the most intimate spaces of people's private homes. So we want to qualify people. We want to make sure that who we're working with is who they say they are, and it's not done because this is sales. There's a very human element here that says, look, you wouldn't invite me as a stranger into your house,
Sure.
Just because I clicked a button on your Facebook. Why would I take you into this person's bedroom, right?
Yeah. It's pretty wild that someone's going to sell a refrigerator, or I guess not a refrigerator, but a sewing machine on Facebook Marketplace, and they want to meet at a police station in a public place so they don't get mugged. But they expect us, and we do it because it's part of the gig. To sure, I'll meet you out at that vacant house out in the middle of nowhere where there's no one around and no cell phone service. No problem. What time you want to be there?
But it happens all the time.
So yeah, we definitely want your information, but there's a bigger purpose too. There definitely is a safety element. We're gonna grab that info so we can help you. We're in the business of helping people, and the number one complaint agents get above and beyond everything else is we don't communicate, we don't follow up. I talk to people who they've requested information and nobody's called them back, and so we want to fix that. Now, every time that happens, every time someone gives us their information, we send them a text message or an email or whatever the communication is, and every one of those says, if you don't want to hear from us, just tell us.
Unsubscribe.
And we'll stop. And we always do. We're not going to spam you. We don't do that. So one message is, when you're on those third-party sites and you're giving your information, realize that they're selling it, and they're going to sell it over and over again. And if you do end up on one of the local sites like ours, that's not going to happen. In fact, it's very much against our interest to sell your info.
Correct.
We're keeping it to ourselves. So there's another category of sites out there that maybe people don't realize exactly how our business works. We're going to do a little inside baseball, or how the sausage is made, if you'd like. So you go to Google and you search for top real estate agent in my area, and you're going to get a handful of sites, and you might get some that say top agents ranked, and here are the top 10 agents in your area. Well, guess what they're going to do with your information? That's right, they're going to sell it to agents like us. We get these calls all the time. These sites exist to get between us and you, our clients, so that they can take your information, sell it to us. Now, the business model there is typically we give them a percentage of our commission. And so you go to one of those sites, they connect you with us, we go sell you a home, and then we turn around and give them 35% of what we made, which at times makes business sense for us to do. We'll do it. But one lesson or one message I'd like to get out there is that this may come as a surprise, but you really can't trust anything you see on the internet.
No, I mean, and it can come as a surprise. I've been screaming that. If you see it on Facebook, it needs to be vetted over and over and over again. But no, I mean, I'll give a perfect example. We have a new listing, just went live this week, 202 4th Avenue in Blair. Beautiful listing. If you're actively, just as another plug here, but if you're actively looking, go check that one out.
Sure.
Check it out on my site. But there was an agent that had showed up at the door as a representative from Sold.com. Sold.com is another referral sites.
Yep.
How this happened, this is not a joke. How this happened is they were going originally by owner, and they had either put their contact information in somewhere on Zillow or wherever that they did, and they say to this person, I have a lead for you. It's a listing lead. Go and secure this lead, and it's seller information, pay us 25% if it closes. And here's the thing, it's like no risk for that company whatsoever, because if they do obtain that listing, then great. But all they did was give them a number that was on Zillow. You're going to pay 25% to this, and they're just going to continuously sell you, even if you didn't register on Zillow. There's things like, when you have a Google account, half the time when you register on new websites, you log in with your Gmail or whatever. You don't even know that you registered because it's already linked.
Yeah, it's the old story that everyone jokes that they're listening to us, right? Because you have a conversation about buying a new refrigerator or a mattress, and suddenly you're seeing ads for those, right? And they're not listening to us. They're not, because they don't have to. Because what happens is we give them enough information that they know more about us than you can possibly imagine. So they know that you're shopping for a car because of your location, because of your Facebook activity, your web browsing activity. They read your emails. I say they. I mean, these are the companies we all subscribe to. It's Google. It's Apple. If you're on an iPhone and you think it's more private, you're wrong. Apple knows everything that you do. And so when you see those ads pop up that seem really creepy, because how did they know I was just thinking about this thing? Well, they know because you give them so much information. It's not that hard to figure it out.
Yeah, and I always enjoy the posts. I love my mother to death, but she's just one of the ones that are like the most susceptible. And without getting into like you'll see these posts every so often. I do not give Facebook my right to consent to do these things. Have you ever read a license agreement from Facebook? In order to have the account, you had to give them the access to all the intricate data just to even have it. So again, if something is free, if you learn nothing else from this podcast, if something is free, you are the product.
That's exactly right.
And you are never going to be the product from us. So
that's for sure. So some alternatives. Let's talk about that. You can search those third-party sites as much as you want. The listings are there. Information is not always reliable. There's a sign right behind me. It's not on camera, but it says the A in Zillow stands for accuracy, which I think is hysterical. So you're not going to get the most reliable information. They're also going to show you ads. Realtor.com lately is loaded with ads for, I mean, you might see ads for a microwave oven while you're shopping for a house, or health insurance or whatever. And if you click the information, click the button requesting more information, know that you just gave them permission to sell your contact information to multiple real estate agents. The alternative would be you come to our site or come to any other local site, which would be johnnyrealtor.com or connorsrealty.com. Those are two ways to get there. We don't have any ads on our sites. We will never sell your information. We also have our own app that you can use that is, again, perfectly private. We can see your activity there, and we tell you that. It's not a secret. We can see what you're browsing. We can see your favorites. We can see any messages that you send. Our clients love it. And it keeps you out of that routine of going to these third-party sites, knowing that your information is out there for everyone to see. And it's just not what you want to do.
Well, and you mentioned the app, and we're using a new system and a couple different things, and for these reasons, because we're trying to combat this as a industry standard. All people, or what is it? All leads are people, but not all people are leads.
That's right.
When you say client, when we say customer, when we say these, they sound similar, but they're subtle differences. Again, we don't want to bother people that don't want to be bothered. And in order to view some of these listings and view some of these things, if you want to make an appointment, again, we have to know who you are. We want to make sure that you're qualified, and not just because we don't want to be bothered with you not being. I will help you get qualified. I will do a group call with the lender and make sure that you are on the same path as possible. But if you're just a browser, that's fine. Come to our site and browse.
Have a ball.
We'll text you. We'll contact you to say what are your goals. If you just want to look at pictures, that's completely fine. We won't bother you. But if you are ready to buy, I'm ready to cowboy up, right? I'm going to get in the car. We're going to help you. If you're ready to sell, we're making sure that your clear-cut goals, everything else, we're going to be that pathway that makes this as smooth as possible. And again, we're not just going to bounce you. You ever see that scene from Pirates of the Caribbean where he gets off the ship and he's running from all the people that are chasing him because they're trying to eat him? That's every time that someone gets a Realtor.com lead or says, I need who knows a good real estate agent. Those floodgates just burst open.
I saw a meme I thought was really funny. If you're feeling lonely tonight, post on Facebook that you're looking for a realtor. You're going to have all kinds of people to talk to.
Come out of the woodwork. But yeah, you won't have that problem if you stay local. And again, even talking about using a local agent, use a local lender, use local inspectors, just stay hyper, because it doesn't make sense to put yourself out there and to go with an online representative. Sometimes they work, but in our vast experience, it just leads to more drama and stress. And again, you become the product.
Yeah, it's just not the best way to do this, which leads to a point that a lot of people know, but I find a surprisingly large number of people don't know that the way buyer's agency works. We recommend for buyers. I have this conversation all the time with people. I say, whether it's me or not, if you're looking to buy a house, find an agent to help you. I'd love to be that guy in most cases, but if it's not, still find someone, connect with them. You're going to get the best service. We can do much more. I can do much more for a client who I know is loyal to me. I'll show you 45 houses if that's what it takes. We've done it.
Yeah.
But if you're calling me and then 4 other agents to see 4 other houses, I can't give you that much time because, clearly we don't really have a relationship. So find a buyer's agent. We can show any house on the market. It doesn't matter who's got it listed. We're happy to do it. Clients all the time are asking me, yeah, I want to see that house over there on 3rd Street. Who's got that listed? Let me see. I can't remember. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't care who's got it listed. Give me the address. Let's go see it.
Sure.
Because we just don't care. We are here to take care of you. And again, whether it's us or it's someone else, if you're buying a house, find an agent, connect with them, someone you trust, someone who's knowledgeable, and stick with them. And if you're not happy with them, find somebody else. But get out of the habit of going to the websites, clicking the button. That's just going to cause you a bunch of grief.
Yeah, and we've done it all. Commercial, foreclosure, residential, multifamily. You if it involves real estate, we've done it. It doesn't mean that I'm always the best for a specific set of circumstances. Sure. And I will be flat out honest with you. If I can't do it, as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm going to go pick a 6-year-old up from kindergarten. I'm pretty much checking out for the day as I'm, getting Cheerios and doing everything. I'm going to be, basically working from home for the rest of the day. Sure. I won't be able to show houses maybe on someone else's schedule. So if you were trying to work with 4 buyer's agents and I'm one of them, the only way that we can actually work this out is when all schedules, your schedule, my schedule, and the seller's schedule all line up. You throw 3 other people in that mix to try and organize their schedules, it's a recipe for disaster.
Sure is.
And again, if I'm not available, you might be available. Yeah. We know other people, and we'll make sure that your lease handled. So yeah, words of wisdom. Don't sit there and just spam the "I want more info" button, because if you do, trust me, you're going to get some info and then some.
You sure are. So, anything else, Johnny?
No, I think it's about it for me.
All right, good stuff.
Well, thanks for watching. We'll be live again on our next podcast coming shortly. Stay tuned for some more additional content. And as always, thanks for watching.
Take care.
Have a great day.